The phrase, keeping up with the Joneses, is a succinct indictment of materialism and consumerism. The phrase originates from a 1913 comic strip in which one fictional family, the McGinnises, is constantly striving to keep up with their ambiguous neighbor, the Joneses. The Joneses go to movies, throw parties, have nice things, and so on. Therefore, the McGinnises also must go to movies, throw parties, have nice things, and so on. If they do not have the means to do these things, they must increase their means. Failure to do this would clearly make them lesser than their neighbors, and that is unacceptable. In contemporary society, status is often at parity with sustenance. Most of us have our basic needs met, but who cares about food? The Joneses have a boat. We need a boat, and we'll do whatever it takes to get that boat and show the Joneses that they aren't better than us. Hell, we'll get 2 boats. That'll really show them. GoodFellas follows the story of Henry Hill, not that one, as he ascends through the ranks of the New York mob. Mr. Hill joins the organization as a teenager and is immediately ensorcelled by the lifestyle of the criminals. They can do whatever they want, and no one will stop them. They have the respect of all those who cross their path. They are living large in every conceivable way. But this extravagant lifestyle is not without its cost. The individuals in question are criminals after all, a profession that is not without its occupational hazards. Hill doesn't seem to pay much mind to these, however. He is too busy having fun, indulging in the excess that is at his disposal. Eventually, the piper must be paid. But for the majority of the film, Henry just revels in the excess with little heed paid to the consequences of such things. Eventually, Henry ropes someone else into his world of debauchery, and this is where we really see the costs being paid. Henry's wife, Karen, bears the brunt of the ramifications for her husband's actions. Initially, the woman is almost deliberately ignorant to the dealings of her husband, but as the film progresses, the things around her become more and more difficult to ignore. The woman is eager to accept the niceties of the lifestyle provided to her. She is part of the proverbial Jones house, and that is ostensibly the dream. But before long, she must also make sacrifices to maintain this dream. When she is cheated on, she must accept it. When Henry goes to prison and the woman is forced to fend for herself, she must accept it. Not only must she accept it, but to some degree, she must become complicit in these illicit activities. In the end, she is just as much a slave to status as her husband. What's more is that all of these things should have consequences for Henry as well, but they just roll off his back like water off a duck. When he cheats on his wife and she threatens to shoot him, he leaves her and goes to live with his mistress. When he goes to prison, he's treated like royalty and is unfazed by his incarceration. Even when he should be facing the consequences of his actions, he is rewarded and as such is incentivized to perpetuate his criminal career. As much as Henry is captured by the affluent lifestyle that he is living, what he has is never enough for him. He is making money hand over fist through various criminal enterprises, but still he desires more, and this desire is ultimately his undoing. Despite the warnings of his superiors in the criminal underworld, Henry starts getting into the drug game. This new enterprise goes well enough for a time, but eventually the piper must be paid. Henry is arrested, and his lifestyle comes crashing down around him. The boss, Polly, will not help him because Henry went behind his back and sold drugs against his wishes. Jimmy, Henry's longtime co-conspirator, is now attempting to have the protagonist whacked, lest the former's involvement in the aforementioned drug trafficking be revealed to the head of the organization. Henry is no longer keeping up with the Joneses, and in fact, the Joneses are now trying to kill him. So the protagonist does the only thing that he can do. He snitches. He rats out Polly and Jimmy to the feds, and in exchange is placed into witness protection. With his life of crime coming to a close, Henry waxes philosophically about his feelings on the matter. He does not display even a modicum of remorse for any of the terrible things that he's done. Henry is a thief, murderer, junkie, philanderer, and so many things that one would theoretically not want to be. But he doesn't seem to regret partaking in any of these actions. Instead, the only sentiment that the gangster expresses is one of regret. Not regret for the terrible things that he's done, but regret that he will have to wait in line like an average schnook. GoodFellas is a fantastic movie, heralded by some as the greatest movie of all time. It is largely a biographical work, chronicling the life of real-life gangster Henry Hill. As such, the main focus in the Scorsese masterpiece is largely narrative-based, but even still, there are some larger takeaways to be had. The theme of avarice is almost certainly a byproduct of the work, as opposed to a primary focus, but it's still something worth examining, because intentionally or not, such a thing is shown in spades. What is the real cost of keeping up with the Joneses? or in the case of GoodFellas, keeping up with the Ciceros. A desire to have the finer things in life is something that seems to be inherent in humanity, but what lengths are we willing to go to obtain such a thing? Most of us are not gangsters, or so I would imagine, but that doesn't mean that we are not willing to go to great lengths in order to preserve our place on the social hierarchy. Just because we're not capable of having someone whacked does not mean that we are incapable of destroying our lives in the pursuit of material things, be it working ungodly hours, be it credit card debt, be it any number of things that fall short of felonious activity. Even those of us who are not wise guys burn the candle at both ends in order to maintain our status, or even our perceived status. Given that people every day pursue these legal avenues of empty affluence, who's to say that given the opportunity, normally upstanding individuals would not sink to criminal levels in order to fulfill their grandiose desires? Who is to say that given the opportunity, a person wouldn't make someone sleep with the fishes in order to keep up with the Joneses?